Have you ever held a fruit or vegetable in your hand while eating it, looked at it, and wondered if it looked the same as when it was first created, or if it underwent some changes through the process of crossbreeding? Crossbreeding is the process of crossing different plant species by humans, which eventually leads to significant changes in the taste, shape, or color of the original plant. Throughout history, humans have used this process to improve agricultural yields to the extent that the appearance of some vegetables and fruits has been completely changed from their original form. Hello, I'm Davis. Before we start, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the red button below to receive our latest videos. Stay tuned and hit that button. In front of you is an eggplant, which most people are familiar with as being black in color or sometimes a slightly purple hue and occasionally white. However, if we were to look at wild eggplants, we would find that the only shape and color available is similar to that of a tomato. Throughout history, humans have learned about agriculture and its techniques, and one of the most important methods is the hybridization, which we mentioned earlier. By hybridizing, we choose the best fruits and merge them together during cultivation, and over time, we improve the quality and quantity of the eggplant crop. However, the downside of hybridization is that the natural or wild shape has completely disappeared over time. Eggplants in the wild used to have many colors and shapes, and most of them had thorns, but through hybridization, we sought out fruits that were more suitable for consumption and had fewer thorns, resulting in the eggplant shape that we know today, which is famous all over the world. Over time, many of the colorful and thorny eggplant varieties have become extinct. Beautiful orange carrots are loved by rabbits, horses, and young children. The color of carrots was not originally orange, and their varieties and colors ranged from white to brown and purple. Despite the fact that the original wild plant was thin and had more foliage and roots, its taste was stronger and more delicious. However, the problem with the produce from this wild plant was that it was poor in quantity and yield. Yes, its taste was great, but it had low production. Purple carrots are now believed to have a much better taste, but commercial production of these varieties has stopped. However, some wild plant varieties are still present up until now. Historians believe that the beginning of hybridization of wild carrot varieties was in Greece, Persia, and Rome. Other historians believe that the dominance of the orange color in carrot crops is specifically due to the hybridization done by Dutch farmers in the 17th century, which is not that long ago. The image in front of you is a painting by the Italian artist Giovanni Stanchi, created in the 17th century. It shows a watermelon with a strange shape. The common red watermelon that everyone loves was not widely spread in fruits in the past, and even the seeds inside the watermelon used to be more than they are today. Stanchi's painting was just a record of the evolution that occurred in watermelons by the 17th century, with the inside shape of the watermelon divided into 6 parts. Researchers believe that the original watermelon began to be hybridized in Egyptian and Libyan lands thousands of years ago, and at that time, the watermelon was smaller in size and had more seeds than the type that appears in Stanchi's painting. Bananas are one of the fruits that are considered a very special case in hybridization. By mixing genetic traits from 2 different wild plant species, a completely new fruit emerged, which is the yellow banana that we know today. Researchers believe that the original wild banana fruit began to be hybridized in Southeast Asia and China thousands of years ago. The delicious yellow banana that we love today is the result of a long process of hybridization and improvement that lasted for many years. However, the original banana fruit that was hybridized later was initially a green fruit with little sugar and full of seeds, and was hybridized with 2 different plant species. The first type is known as Musa acuminata, which researchers describe as a plant covered with light thorns that resembles the okra vegetable that is known today. The second type was a plant called Musa balbigiana, which resembled small green bananas but was full of hard and large seeds. With the continued hybridization of the fruit over the years, farmers now have 2 known types of bananas, Gros Michel and Cavendish. Since Gros Michel was easier to cultivate, less costly, and had a better taste, it dominated the markets while Cavendish lost its popularity in the markets and among farmers. However, a fungal disease spread some time ago and destroyed the Gros Michel variety, and then farmers had to cultivate the Cavendish banana, which became the type that we all know today. This issue has caused a lot of concern among researchers who fear that the Cavendish banana will also be susceptible to the disease that destroyed the Gros Michel, which could lead to the disappearance of bananas from the world. Therefore, experiments are currently being conducted to produce a completely new variety of bananas as a precautionary measure. After this episode, a detailed episode about bananas and the disease that affected them will be produced on the channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to receive the video as soon as it is released. Corn is one of the crops that has been subjected to seed hybridization for thousands of years. Farmers in Mexico began selecting the best grains from the teosinte plant, which is a herbaceous plant that still exists today. This plant resembled wheat, and the plant consisted of small hard seeds that were present in several rows. Its taste was somewhat similar to that of raw potatoes. Over time, the crop's appearance and taste began to change until one day the farmers settled on a shape and taste that they were satisfied with, which is the current form that we all know today. Researchers suggest that this form began in the 15th century and has continued until today. The red, green, and yellow apples that we love today are believed to be descendants of 4 different types of apples. Farmers in the past used to mix the seeds of these 4 types to take the best qualities from each. 2 wild fruits that are still found in the region where the apple's new form originated, which is currently located in Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, are Malus sieversii and Granny Smith. Malus sieversii is a fruit that resembles a combination of guava and pomegranate, while Granny Smith looks very similar to the apples we eat today. These 2 fruits are still found in the mountains of the mentioned regions and are considered very popular foods among animals, especially bears. Their taste is still acceptable, but their sugar content was lower than that of the apples we eat today. Moreover, their harvest is rare and limited to only 1 or 2 months at most, which is why humans have only used these 2 types for hybridization to produce the apples we know today over the past 3,000 to 4,000 years. Tomatoes have caused some controversy over whether they are a fruit or a vegetable, but regardless of this debate, tomatoes are considered one of the newer plants in the world. The original tomatoes were herbaceous plants that produced small yellow fruits that resembled cherry tomatoes. Through hybridization, they gradually took on their recognizable form and became popular worldwide after the Spanish armies began to explore the New World and became acquainted with the Aztec civilization in the 16th century. Prior to that, tomatoes were not known to anyone in other continents. Despite the widespread popularity of tomatoes today and their inclusion in almost all types of cooked foods, their fame was delayed due to a problem that occurred when they were first cultivated in Europe and mixed with some ingredients containing lead. This caused many people who ate them to suffer from poisoning and die. Afterward, people believed that this plant was toxic. However, over time, this belief changed, and people realized that it was not poisonous at all. Tomatoes then became one of the most famous crops grown on the face of the earth. The delicious peach fruit has been around for about 4,000 years. Initially, it was small and slightly salty in taste, with a little juice and a large seed taking up most of the fruit space. However, with hybridization, farmers and doctors from the Himalayan mountain region have transformed the peach into its current recognizable form, rich in nutrients, with a smaller seed. This did not prevent the continued cultivation of wild peaches, which are still used today to extract oil from their large seeds that is used in many medicinal and nutritional applications. So who made it here? To all those who made it, you are the best. Give us a like before you leave, so we can know how many of you made it to the end. And don't forget, if you have any episode recommendations, write them in the comments. We love you all. Peace.